Welcome to the town of Southbridge, a joint protections persons and property subcommittee and town council meeting Wednesday, August 11th, 2021, 6 p.m. What? Oh. All right, roll call. Julian?
Here.
Catrona?
Present.
Adams? Wait a minute.
Absolutely, I got fired. So, don't call my name no more.
Who's the other sitting there?
Jack Jovan. Jack Jovan.
Jack?
Me.
I forgot, you've been chairman so long.
Yeah.
Jovan?
I forgot that I was on the subcommittee, honestly.
But this is wrong.
Jovan? Lonzo, here. Citizen member, the other one is not here. He's absent.
Katrona.
We have a quorum? What?
You're right down, Katrona. Yvonne needs to correct it.
All right, moving on. Minutes. There are no minutes prepared at this time. Moving on to agenda number 3. Review the citizen's request of Wallace McKenzie to serve as a citizen member of the Protections in Persons and Property Subcommittee through July 31st, 2022, pending completion of the state ethics training. We'll entertain a motion to vote to recommend to full council confirm.
Second.
There's a motion by Joe Catrona, seconded by Jack Jovan. Discussion? Wally, you have anything to say before we...
Yes. I'm never at a loss for words. I just want to say that I'm glad to be back in Southbridge, and I want to come on this committee only to be able to do 2 things. I want to serve my town, and I also want to be a positive influence and a positive voice for the police and the fire, and I believe that they need as much support as they can possibly get, and in a positive way, and that's why I'm looking to join this committee.
Any questions or discussion by members? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Review the citizen request of Derek Julian to serve as citizen member of the Protections in Persons and Property Subcommittee through July 31st, 2022, pending completion of the state ethics training. Entertain a motion to vote to recommend to council for confirmation.
So,
Second.
Motion by Joe Catrona, Council Catrona, second by Councilor Jovan. Discussion. Any comments there? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? I would have voted please. Motion passes. Moving on to number 5, review and discuss the appointment of Joshua Thompson as full-time firefighter paramedic for the town of Southbridge pending medical clearance and the successful completion of the Massachusetts Physical Abilities Test. PAT. Will entertain a motion to vote to recommend to council confirm. Clear motion.
so, second.
Council by Councilor Jovan, second by Catrona. Chief?
So let me just speak for Town Manager McCall. He obviously is on vacation, but we did meet with him in the final round of what we started out with 14 candidates in this round of hiring process. Mixed credentials between paramedic and EMT status. At the final say of all of this, firefighter Joshua Thomas was selected through our process. We did it in about 37 days, pushed this process through, so much quicker than we've done in the past. But Joshua is a resident of Holland, currently works for the town of Southbridge Fire Department, providing 911 and EMS services very similar to what we do here in Southbridge. He is a current paramedic. He also has his certification firefighter 1 and 2 through the Mass Call volunteer program. But when the time comes, if the appointment goes through, he will be sent to the MFA Career Full-Time Academy. I'm guessing probably in the springtime. Through the interview process, he identified that his family is very active in the fire service in the western part of Mass. I do know Councilor Jovan has already grilled him and talked to him in the hall a little bit about it. But obviously, having some Western Mass ties, those guys get to know about some areas, and they're both on the same page. But in a very short time frame, Joshua has managed to achieve what you see in his resume. He's gotten his EMT, gotten his firefighter 1-2, and received his paramedic in a very short time frame. He's motivated. I think he'll be a good fit for the department. Background check is currently being performed by the Southbridge Police Department. We started that about a week and a half ago. I recommend Joshua to be pushed forward to the town process to get appointed at the council level at the next time.
And Joshua's sitting back there, I should say.
Joshua's
Josh,
here.
would you like to comment or say a few words?
I think Chief covered my credentials quite well. I just want to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm very excited to work for the town of Southbridge.
Thank you. Julian?
You might have misspoke. You said he currently works for Southbridge.
Oh, Sturbridge.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't in some kind of aspect at Southbridge already.
Sturbridge Fire Department.
All right.
About that.
Thank you.
So you're stepping up. I want that perfectly clear. I do have, passion, you know what I mean. Any other discussion?
Chair.
Mr. Jones?
Through you to the chief. I mean, very qualified, has all the attributes. I guess just a couple questions, I'm not sure. PAT test, given the fact that he's already employed, does the PAT test follow you? Because my understanding was once it was taken anywhere that you were able to, you didn't have to take the actual physical abilities test again.
So,
Or did that change within the statute?
if I could answer that. So what I know about the physical agilities testing, which is the PAT, it's only good for 1 year. So he has taken the test quite a few, 3 years ago, Joshua, if I may ask? 2 years ago. So the last time we've had a very similar circumstance with someone that we hired, they did have to go back and take the PAT. So that actually is no cost to the town, but it is part of obviously our process and requirement to become a candidate.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, secondly, firefighter 1 and 2 is through the call ball, is that what that is?
That's correct.
And I understand you have a policy that send them off to the full-time academy. But he's already trying to get certification fire instructor and fire officer. Isn't that, it's a requirement though, right, to have that to be able to go to those courses? So I'm just trying to understand. I get your procedure, I'm looking at you lose somebody for 7 weeks, but somebody that's already in the process to get instructor certified and officer certified. And if you could just explain that. So
the call ball program and the career program, the classroom and the final certification test is exactly the same. So they do teach this program in a 10-week period. I want to correct on that. It's not 7, it is a 10-week period, so we will lose the employee for that time. But in the collective bargaining agreement that we have with the union, that all members, regardless of having firefighter 1-2 certification from other sources, have to still go to the career academy at the fire academy. The second part of the answer is that because he does have firefighter 1-2, he can apply and take certification exams for the Officer 1 and instructor, because that certification is exactly the same as what you would get through the career department. So you can continue on with taking other classes.
Right, because just as a quick follow-up, so, and that was my point, I mean, the state recognized it, but you're saying it's because of the collective bargaining agreement, that's why you have to do that?
Correct.
Derek?
One more question. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask this and I didn't. You're saying this is filling a vacant position. Did we have another retiree or somebody get lost here? Or?
If I may ask, answer. So we had an employee that lived outside the 15-mile radius, and that was not going to be achieved. So we relieved him of duty. He was on probation.
So that was one of the recent hires?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the status of Bonnie?
She's currently reviewing the PAT, the Physical Agilities Testing Program, and she's due to retake her test very soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Council Catrona?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Jack. Just a couple quick questions. How much notice would you have to give to Sturbridge?
I would like to give an adequate amount of notice.
If selected, okay. And any plans on moving to town?
Probably not within the next year. I just bought my house about a year ago, but yes. Be
Thank you.
interested in doing so.
Any other discussion? Questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion? Against? Opposed? Unanimous? Moving on.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, when is the next council meeting? I just wanted to, because.
Monday.
Is it Monday night?
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, review and discuss a donation of $200 received by Mr. and Mrs. John Tumalo to the fire department to be used at the discretion of the fire chief for the department. We entertain a motion to vote to recommend to full council to accept the donation to the fire department.
So,
Motion by Council Catrona, do we have a second?
Second.
Council Jovan. Discussion.
So, is that Dr. Tumalo? John Tumalo? I was
Yeah,
not
that
sure.
should be doctor.
Well, the check said Mr. and Mrs.
Okay.
So, anyways, they came in and dropped off this check and left it with the staff that was on duty that, a few weeks back. It was relayed to me that he wanted us to have a party or do something with the proceeds because we worked so hard during the COVID process. So the easiest way is to put it into an account and we can use it for a lunch or a refreshment stand at a training that we will be having within the next year. So obviously with the warm weather, I could actually use it obviously next week if it does finally get approved, but it's at the discretion of my use, and that's probably what I'll use it for.
Any questions, discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to agenda item number 7, review and discuss the appointment of Thomas A. Kumanelis as Police Auxiliary Officer, effective immediately through June 30th, 2024, pending completion of the state ethics training. I entertain a motion to vote to recommend to full council confirm.
Second.
Motion by Council Catrona, second by Council Jovan. Mr. Chief, you want to comment on this?
Absolutely. Through you, Chair. Thomas Kumanelis is actually a very familiar face in name in town. He actually was a police officer from 1996 to December of 2008. He worked 12 years for the Southbridge Police Department as a patrolman. He actually was born and raised in town as well. He did transfer down to the Cape and did 11 years down for Cape Cod and did 9 years as sergeant, 11 total there, so he moved up in rank. During the pandemic, he stepped up, he came back after he retired and he was seeking out some dispatchers, and he stepped in during the pandemic, worked full-time for us, because at that time, the state of emergency, it didn't affect his pension. At this point, after June 15th, it is affecting his pension, so he can no longer work full-time for us, but he is willing to help us out with auxiliary work, which, as you know, just looking at Main Street, we have, thousands of hours that need to be filled. Right now, we're forcing 4 or 5 guys in that do not want to be there, and he'll be a body we could use for detail work at minimum. And the only thing else I'll add is, his father as well was is a retired sergeant from the Southbridge Police Department, so he comes with a good foundation, I can say that.
Nice. Question, discussion? Derek?
As you all know, I was an auxiliary police officer in the town of Southbridge, and I was on there when Mr. Kumanelis was an officer in town. He was an outstanding officer from what I can remember and recall. I've known Tommy for a lot of years. I think this is a great addition to this auxiliary police department.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present? Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Don't ask for that, you might be.
Officer Dinghy, it's nice to see you, by the way. You're refreshing considering seeing the chief all the time, I mean,
Yeah. I'd love to pitch in once in a
Nah, it's
while,
nice seeing you on. All right, moving on to agenda item number 8, review and discuss the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security Grant Award in the amount of $10,000 available under the FFY 2019 Burn Jag reallocation grant based on the Southbridge Police Department 2021 Address Verification Program, AVP. We will entertain a motion to vote to recommend to full council to accept the grant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Catrona, seconded by Jovan. Discussion.
Through you, Chair. This is an interesting grant. They actually reached out to Southbridge PD the last day it was closing out, and reached out to a sex offender registry officer that there was funds available and that we should apply for it. So we had to turn around within like 6 hours and put this grant in. Just to give you a little history on the sex offender registry, we have in Southbridge over 80 sex offenders. That's more than Webster, Sturbridge, and Taunton combined. We have like 4 less than those towns. Just to put it in perspective, Framingham has 84, which they have 100-man police department. So following up on the sex offender registry requirements, address verifications, and things of that nature takes a lot of time. It's almost a full-time job. And this is great funds that we put aside for them to get verify the addresses, which has to happen once a year. And for the safety of the community, it shall. As long as the chief will speak, as long as we're here, that's going to happen. So this is great funds. Now we don't have to use our funds to find the sex offenders where they're living.
Wally? Did you?
My question was going to be what would the money be used for? And
Okay.
Deputy Chief was kind of to answer that.
Any other discussion on this? Joe?
Thank you.
Hey, John.
The other question that quickly is, it says contract manager, Jordan Witherspoon.
He's
Who is that?
So Jordan Witherspoon is now, we assign officers to certain tasks. He's actually doing a lot. He's doing the sex offender registry, he's doing the licenses to carry, and he's also a detective. So he's assigned to this, so he's the one that, he won't be doing all the hours because he can't do it by himself. So, but he was the one that is in charge of all the computer reporting requirements.
Okay, thank
So
you.
there's a state computer that has to go in and report that we checked up on this person, so and so there's a warrant for this person. So he's the contact person for the Southbridge Police Department.
Thank you.
Council Jovan?
Yeah, just make sure that we're correct, because it says FFY. I imagine that's because it's federal fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not a typo, it is federal fiscal year 2019. Correct.
Yes, it was part of leftover monies in this.
Right, but it's, because usually with FY, that's federal fiscal year, because the federal fiscal year is different.
Correct.
Just want to make sure we don't
I think
change
they get
that.
funded federally for this grant. Correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. We're going to agenda item number 9, adjournment. Do I have a motion? Catrona, motion. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Julian. All those in favor? Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Well done, yeah.